Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for our monthly sales meeting. We really appreciate you guys coming out today. So we are blessed to have our motivational speaker with us today. So, can you tell? And so now you're speaking to everybody, not just us. So,
Right.
so let's go ahead and do the intros again real quick.
Okay.
And kind of give us the once over, and then we're gonna let you kind of get us started here.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm Rhea with Residential Inspector of America. But I also really do enjoy motivational speaking as well. And I'm just really grateful to be here today. I actually have a written message for you guys I put together that I hope you'll find useful for your day. So if it's okay, I'll go ahead and get started on that. I've titled it Participating with Change. Change is simply the process of things getting back to normal, because what we consider normal is really just something we've done a while that seems to work okay. Change is an inevitable part of life, so come to expect it and come to appreciate what it represents. Change offers opportunity. Some change is felt intimately. It might be the suffering or it might be the joy that we keep to ourselves while we're awaiting something new. Other changes felt collectively. It can be felt in small partnerships or larger communities or even the world as a whole. And sometimes change is felt on both levels at once. So you see, change comes in waves and dissipates. And how we choose to participate with the waves ultimately determines our experience once our tides have normalized and dissipated. We can fight against the wave or we can swim. We can become better fighters or we can become a better swimmer. Above all, we must remain calm and never confuse the bottom of the ocean for the top. Keeping your sense of direction and focusing on staying on top should be our priority. Some of us are new agents and others are vets that have seen many industry changes since the beginning. When we all start our real estate career, it can be normal to ask ourselves, is this normal? Frankly, we might be too scared to ask anyone else. And further, everyone's response is usually, now's a great time to buy. Or it's an excellent time to sell if you can. The market is great. And then boom, change hits the market. Change hits the office or change hits our lives. Change can level the playing field and change can feel unfair. The key to change is participation. By participating in the change, we affect the way things turn out in the end after normalcy has finally returned. Everything feels new after change, even when it's normal again. Let us try to learn about accountability for the things we can help shape or mold, and let us not start focusing too harshly on those things that will only bring complaint from our minds. When we participate in our own normal. We regain our balance, our reestablishment of order. So today, I do challenge everyone to find a change that is currently occurring in our lives and decide to participate. Find your accountability in the change and focus on what you can do, because we can all make a change even when we're going through one.
Oh,
So thank you guys.
Love it.
Well,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, and talk about true. I mean, the only constant we have in real estate
Yes.
is change,
Change.
right? Like that's the only thing that really stays steady in there, kind of thing. So,
You guys are in great hands here. You seem to always be evolving with change, which is a beautiful thing. And us being leaders and followers at the same time, so we can all learn from everyone.
That's
All right.
right. That's
Well, I
right.
wish you guys a blessed and awesome day.
Well, thank
All
you
right.
so much. So thank you very much for that. All right, we're gonna start off and kind of run around, and I'm gonna let the branch managers are gonna speak really quick, and just kind of address everyone, all the things going on, the different offices, that kind of stuff. So we're all back together, and then they'll come back to us, and then we'll jump in the other part. So, Mr. Wordsworth, are you ready?
You're on mute.
Yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello, hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Wordsworth.
Okay, thank you. As you know, I'm Wordsworth, the branch manager at the Fayetteville office. And of course, I'm in charge of mostly just agent billing. A couple of things I do want to touch on. I don't really want to step on any toes as far as, like the plans and things go, but I want people to be aware of the upcoming changes. On your most recent invoice that you'll receive, you'll see that we have some information about plan changes coming up. Alan and Ming spoke on it at a sales meeting, and what was that, a couple weeks ago? So the plan prices are going up. Excuse me. All the info about the plan changes can be found on the previous sales meeting, and again, when you get your invoice, you'll see the increase amounts. That's pretty much it. I haven't run into any more issues lately, except again, with the Georgia MLS, you guys are really good at changing the date on paperless pipeline as far as the closing goes, but not so much on Georgia MLS. I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but honestly, at this point, we got to make some glue, because like nobody changes it on Georgia MLS. I don't mind changing it for you as long as the documents showing that the closing date was extended are in paperless. No worries, I'll change it. But if it's not in paperless, then I got to call you 5 times. Then I got to text you. Then I got to email you. And then I got to send you a fake invoice so you'll finally pay attention to me. But yeah, that's really the only things I have going on. I am decorating our media room here in Fayetteville, putting up a tree, making a fake fireplace just in case anybody wants to come in and do some holiday videos for their social media. Because, we've been talking about video, and, everybody's like, okay, I'm going to come to Fayetteville. I haven't seen any of y'all. I'm just saying. So, yep, that's pretty much all that I have. So I am going to pass it over to Nancy in Conyers. Nancy in Conyers.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nancy in Conyers, office manager here at Max One. I do agent service coordinating, onboarding for all the agents. We've had 3 new hires this month with the possibility of 5 more. Some are having to get CE classes. Some have not been released from the previous brokerage, and some have to take the realtor's test first. I'm also working with MBOR on co-chairing the $1 Million Club. I hope that you if you are a member of MBOR, that you qualify for this award and participate in this event. The event's going to be May the 13th at the Engine Room in Monroe. We picked this venue because it has outdoor and indoor seating. In the Conyers office, we have Jackie O tomorrow with her pop-by workshop at 11. And we want to say happy birthday to Jackie today. She's celebrating number 59. It's her birthday. A pop-by, if you don't know, is a marketing strategy as a method of reconnecting with past agents, as well as generating referrals and new businesses. Tamika, one of the agents that actually took Jackie's class last time, made some pop-bys and left them at the door of previous clients. And she now has a couple of new clients, and she uses this method of marketing quite a bit now. While social media is great in marketing, there is something to be said for maintaining a personal connection with your past clients as a means for generating referrals. With the holidays coming up, it's the perfect time to make those connections. So Jackie's pop-by theme this time is holidays, Christmas and Thanksgiving. We are also going to have a power hour for making business planning and starting with vision boards. In this power hour, we'll be discussing a business plan in place for the new year, setting our goals for business and personal. Hopefully, we'll do this on a calendar and make our vision boards. Many of you have reached out, and we're also going to set a date and a time to learn how to make Google business pages. We'll be reviewing some of YouTube videos and finding out together how to set up your business Google page. And my inspiration for the week is, if you first don't succeed, try time management and a vision board. Thank you. Let's see, the next person up is Sharice.
Hi, guys. Just want to let you know that we have scheduled a booth for the Mistletoe Market on the 5th of December, downtown McDonough. It's sponsored by the Small Business of McDonough. So if any agents are interested in publishing themselves, let me know. I have also taken over Renting.Georgia. Any suggestions for that? Sorry about my voice. And then we have 2 new agents coming in this month. That's all I have. Mello.
There we go.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Melody, the branch manager here at the airport office. So I just wanted to give you guys an update on a few upcoming classes that we have here in the airport office. On Wednesday, we have been doing relaunch series. So relaunch is a 2-week-long series where you can get your post license credit. That actually started on Monday. So if you missed that, you can still come in for a 3-hour training. Alan is doing an amazing job on that. Again, good morning. It's here in the airport office. So Wednesday, we have real estate marketing and technology secrets. Friday is business planning for agents. And then the following week, next Monday, ultimate buyer, followed by ultimate listings, which everybody needs that. And then Friday, show me the money and take me to closing. So again, those are all next week here in the office, 9:30 to 12:30. And then I just want to leave you guys with a few quotes. The first one is a quote by Mark Twain. Stay away from those people who try to disparage your ambitions. Small minds will always do that, but great minds will give you a feeling that you can become great too. And then the last one is by Norman Vincent Peale. It says, when you change your thoughts, remember to also change your world. Have a great morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Adrienne, the branch boss in Noonan.
You get your props too.
Thanks. I wanted to let everyone know that Noonan is growing over here. We have 3 new agents in our sales meeting this morning. So welcome. I just wanted to let you guys know about the CE classes that we have coming up. As Mello was telling you about relaunch, we just started that yesterday. It's been fabulous. I've gotten some great feedback from the agents in my office that are attending. So if you need any kind of just regular CE credit, feel free to join at the airport location or via Zoom, and you will get just the regular CE credit. So feel free to do that. We've got lots of classes left in the year to get your credit. We have 2 Code of Ethics classes remaining for the year 2021. One of those, the next one coming up is in November, November the 16th. So it's next week, next Tuesday. And that's in Fayetteville. So if you still need to check that off your list, please get signed up. We've already got a pretty full class and it's in person.
I don't want to cut you off, but that cycle is every 3 years now, and that cycle ends on December 31st. So for all my realtors, you got to have that in by December 31st or else you are not going to be in compliance with the board. So please, please, please get your seat, your
Code of ethics.
Yes, exactly. Sorry.
If you cannot make that class, we understand. That's why we're offering it one more time in December. So December 15th, you'll be in McDonough, and these both are in office only classes, and there is limited seating space. So please go ahead and get registered. We have lots of other classes coming up in the remainder of this year for November and December, and including the game of credit, which Teresa McIntosh will be teaching, and she's always a good time. So that'll be a fun one in Fayetteville. And then also we have GAR contract changes for 2022.
Those are coming up.
So,
Yeah, we change. It gets changed at least once a year. So this is, we're gonna be going through all the changes in December. It'll start on January 1. It always kicks off on January 1. So let's be up to date on those changes.
that's right. And we're going to be offering those in each of our branches, as well as on,
Yeah, they're all gonna be in branch. Yeah.
they're all in branch.
Yeah.
So we have dates. Yes, there are several dates that we're offering those, and I don't have those written down. But you can see all of the classes that we have scheduled at mx1training.com. And so you can see what we have offered, and you can register there as well. So go ahead and do that after the sales meeting. And I am going, last sales meeting, I challenged you guys to do a video, and I told you that I was going to make a video, and I did it. You did. I did it. Oh, thank you. Thanks. Yeah. So I'm going to do another one, and this is going to be like a tutorial video about Google Calendars. So if you are using those already, that's great. If you want to get more out of it, then tune into the video to come. That's all I got. And Alan, over to you.
Was it really your first take on your video?
And I decided I was gonna do it like on the fly. So
All right. Well, I'm going to share a presentation here I got. So let me get this here. And then I'm gonna...
While you're doing that, can I share a pop idea for the end of the year
Absolutely.
for $1?
you want to come up here so you can be on the speaker?
But we just do a roll of wrapping paper from the dollar store, and then we just say, thank you for helping us wrap up a great year. If you know of anybody looking to make a move in 2022, give us
That's
a call.
great.
And it's literally a $1 roll.
You wanna
wrapping
repeat
paper.
I don't know if everybody heard that or not, but the idea is, what they do is they give a roll of wrapping paper
From the dollar store.
from the dollar store.
Christmas wrapping paper.
Yeah, Christmas wrapping paper. Okay. The weird one. You
Yeah.
go.
Because you have people that don't necessarily celebrate Christmas. It could be anything. It could be birthday wrapping paper, whatever.
That's
but-
true. That's true.
And then what's the tagline?
We just say that, thank you for helping us wrap up a great year. If you know of anybody looking to make a move in 2022, give us a call. And we wrap, we tie ribbon, and we hole punch our business card, and then that tagline, and we do a bow. around
Very
it.
cool.
That
And it
is
only costs us
nice.
$1.
All right,
and we
Jackie.
hit everybody with that.
All right, Jackie, you just got your challenge thrown down by the Kirk, so that's good.
Wow.
All right. Well, I want to kind of jump in and go a little bit back to school with everybody today. Okay. And I'm not trying to talk down to anybody. I don't mean that, but I think we need to understand some things that's going on in our marketplace right now. So in case you haven't noticed, we've got some inflation issues going on. So what is inflation?
Oh, is this?
Yeah, this is interactive kind of thing as best as we can right now. So, what do you guys look at? I mean, what is inflation?
The dollar devaluing.
The dollar devaluing, yeah. Well, I mean, our official definition is the rate of increase in prices over a given period of time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I don't care what it is, hot dogs,
Right.
right? Are hot dogs more expensive now than they were 6 months ago or a year ago? Gas, houses, wages, everything, right?
Yes.
And so are we seeing inflation happen right now? Yeah, we really, really are. And as far as like how does inflation really work? Well, we have, supply and demand is a big piece of it. So, with our demand and our pull, And that's where we have a lot of demand for products. So like, what have we seen in housing over the past year that have been challenges on that? Like lumber, you know, windows, yeah, we've been waiting on windows all year, siding, paint, you know, that kind of stuff. So what happens? So when there's a lot of demand for it, what happens?
The price is up.
All right. Yep. And then what next thing happens is, what does that do to the costs? It pushes those costs higher on each one of those products as well. And then when that happens, what happens to wages? And so, you know, I mean, you know, we've seen where this is a we have a lot of issues going on with supply and demand, and we have a lot of issues going on with inflation. And so we've got to look at what is that really, how's that going to impact us moving forward? And then how do we make some informed decisions? Because for me, it really comes down to how do we articulate and how do we communicate to our clients? Our clients are going to be coming to us going, what's happening with the housing market? Where's housing going? What's going to be going on? And I want to make sure that you guys have all the tools necessary to really be able to make that kind of informed decision kind of thing. So this is where inflation has been for the past 12 months. You can see that we had really, really low inflation up until about March, right? And then what happened around March? Yeah, well, I mean, well, but
Is that last year?
no, this year. Yeah. But we really saw like labor take off. We really saw, you know, the economy really start to drive, right? And so once the economy really started to drive, this is what our inflation numbers look like. Now, and if you look at it on the year, it definitely does not look great. It really doesn't look that great over since 2012. This is the last 11 years. And you can kind of see where our inflation rate has been hovering right around, give or take 2%.
No.
Where are we now? We're pushing 6. We're like 5.5 roughly kind of thing. And so, you know, it is inflation a factor that especially like the Fed, you know, we're going to be talking about the Fed policies and how that's going to affect housing here in just a second. But, you know, can we just act like this doesn't go on? No, we really can't. You know, this is the actual U.S. Consumer Price Index, and the Consumer Price Index, along with inflation, are really, you know, they pretty much match. But you can see the exact same thing. You know, inflation and consumer pricing, they're tied hand in hand, and the graphs look nearly identical.
Right.
So, what is the Fed looking at doing right now? Because we need to kind of talk about how this is going to impact us in housing. And then what should we be looking for, and how should we guide our clients? So this past week, the Fed announced that they are starting to taper off their Treasury purchases. Now, the Fed has two types of monetary policy that they use to help control the growth of the economy. And so it's the Fed policy. I mean, I'm sorry, it's how much they're buying in Treasury bonds, and then also what are they setting the lending rate at? And so I want to kind of talk about these just a little bit, and I know that I'm getting a little bit schooly, and I'm not trying to, but I want to make sure that you guys have a clear understanding of really what we're talking about. So, you know, right now, the Fed is buying about $120 billion in Treasury bonds every month. And they're going to be tapering that down by 15 billion a month, which means that sometime around late summer next year, they're going to be down to very little Treasury bonds being purchased. Now, why is the 10-year Treasury such an important factor for us in housing? Does anybody know? Well, but you know, the layperson says, why does interest rates and 10-year Treasury matter? Well, I'm going to skip around a little bit kind of thing. Sorry. So this is the 10-year Treasury. This black line right here, and that kind of goes through. And this is our 10-year Treasury, and you can see this is it. You know, for the last 20 years, this is the 10-year Treasury. The blue line is the 15-year fixed, and the green line is 30-year fixed. Do you see a correlation between those two? So what happens when the Treasury goes down? When the 10-year Treasury goes down, what do interest rates do? When the 10-year Treasury goes up, They go up. So I'm not trying to make anybody dizzy, but I want to get back to where we're talking about. So we got to understand that, just we were talking about supply versus demand earlier. What happens when the Fed isn't buying as much Treasury notes as they were before? What are we expecting Treasury to do, or the Treasury bond prices to do? We're expecting those Treasury bond prices to go up, kind of thing. So, the U.S. Federal Reserve is responsible for all the monetary policy kind of thing. In general, when the rates are low, the economy grows and inflation increases. Have we seen that? And are we seeing that? All right. Conversely, when interest rates are high, the economy slows and decreases. So would you say that the economy is going right now? And should we be expecting them to slow things down a little bit? All right. And so if you just look at just this statement, the economy grows when the interest rates are low. So what do you think that they're going to do to influence interest rates? They're going to influence interest rates up. Okay. And I see the writing on the wall. And so we need to be ready for that. We need to prepare our clients for that. So this shows inflation versus the federal funds rate. And so on here, again, I'm not trying to get too schooly with you, but you can see anytime that the core consumer price index shoots up a little bit, what do the feds do with the interest rates? Well, they raise them, kind of thing. Now, right now, we're low right now, right?
Right. Yeah.
But do you think that with inflation going that way, that they're going to do it? Because, the federal funding rate is not as weird as it sounds. You'd figure that the federal funding rate would really affect mortgage rates. But the federal funding rate affects all those other institutions, lending, that kind of stuff. They can all borrow money from the Fed at 0% over prime, basically, is how it is. And so they can affect that kind of growth moving forward. So these are the assets that the Federal Reserve has been buying, for the last 2 centuries, kind of thing. And you can see, did anybody know anything that happened in 2020? And what happened to those purchases that we were doing? The Fed was very concerned about housing and about interest rates and that kind of stuff. So they started buying a lot of 10-year Treasury, along with other mortgage-backed securities and that kind of thing. But this is really where it sits. Just on, these are notes and bonds. These are the 10-year Treasuries that we've been talking about. And you can see where we know when they started raising it and what that's done. And for the last 2 years, what has our interest rates been? Did anybody think that we were going to hold interest rates this low for this long? I mean, realistically, if you've been in the business this long, think about what a normal rate is, and we have to kind of get our minds around that. Like my parents bought one of their houses at like 15%, right? And we're kind of thankful to get it. I know that at one point in my life, I think Ming and I had a mortgage at like 9%. And that was normal, kind of thing. And now we got this idea that 3% is normal, right? And so, we have a little bit of a perception issue. Is 3% normal? I mean, it was a great segue in with Raya today, right? Talking about change, but is 3% really, really normal? I mean, not when you look at the history, and I'll show you some historical numbers on here, kind of thing. So again, this is our, I showed this graph a minute ago, but you can see the 10-year Treasury. You can kind of see what it does with interest rates. Now, the red line, this is the federal funding rate. Right? This is when they drop it down to 0 here. And when I say 0, they're just not adding anything over prime. Is really what it is. That's why it shows it at about 3 1/4. So, but they're not adding anything on top of it, and so you can see that the federal funding rate doesn't necessarily follow interest rates. That's not our driver. Our 10-year Treasury is our driver. Now, the federal funding rate is going to be a driver for the economy, and that is going to in turn affect real estate as well. So what are our consequences of high inflation on real estate? First of all, we're going to continue to see an increase in cost of home construction. We're not looking at those numbers going down anymore. I mean, as a matter of fact, they're talking about labor going back up over $400 a board foot again by December, kind of thing. So let's talk about that really fast. So if you're a builder and you know that lumber costs are going up, can you build an entry-level home?
No.
I mean, do we see any out there?
No.
Right now, nationwide, new construction that is under 200,000 accounts for 1.5% of all new construction in the entire country. So what kind of market are we looking at for new construction moving forward? I mean, right now, the median new construction home is $400,000, $404,000, and that's just kind of a nationwide. And so, is that a starter product for us anymore?
No.
No, it really isn't. It's tough.
That's right.
Right. So, again, these are things that like, can I adjust the interest rates for our clients? Can I stop these things, inflation? No, I don't have the power to do that, but do I have the ability to understand what's going on in our market and be able to guide and direct and advise my clients on the right path, right? We're out here today, most of our offices are located out in the burbs kind of thing. And one thing that if you haven't kind of noticed going on, like what new construction product is starting to resonate out in the suburbs a lot more so than we've seen in the past? Townhomes. We're seeing a lot more townhomes. And for a couple of reasons. One, they're cheaper to build and they have a lower price point and they have less maintenance costs. But a lot of our millennials right now, the millennials take up 22% of our market, but they're accounting for almost 40% of our sales right now. So they're driving that price point. And if townhomes has not been something that you thought would be a good starter product in the past, we need to check our own thoughts on that kind of thing, because we are seeing where there's going to be, expect to see more and more of this product out there. Because if I'm a builder and I want to build in that lower end price point, really townhome is the only vehicle I have to do that. So are we going to continue to see rising home prices? Yes, we will. Now, I do feel that's going to be tapered. We are not, but what my crystal ball says is that we're going to have much more modest price appreciations. But you also have to think about overall, as inflation, as it costs more for a 2x4 and for a window and for all this other kind of stuff. If you already have 2x4s and windows and all this other kind of stuff, is that worth more now?
Yeah.
So on one hand, the inflation is going to help keep house prices up. As weird as that sounds, you can't have high inflation and then have devaluing property, because everything that it takes to build that house now costs more. So will we probably have a decline in the number of or in financing of homes? I mean, that's the reality of it, right?
Yeah.
What happens when interest rates go up? It forces some people out of the market, and it changes buying patterns. We have to be ready. Now, at the same time, real estate is also a really solid hedge against inflation. And this has been historically one of the best things that Americans, that anybody in the world can do against inflation, is own a home. And so if we truly do want to help people, what's one of the best things that we can do? Help them own a home, right? Kind of thing. So, first thing is, if you can lock in a mortgage with a low interest rate, are your payments going up over the next 10 years, 30 years, whatever? No. All right. Will you be exposed to rising rents? What's happening to rents right now for our clients?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, rents are up 16% right now. And see, rents follow home values between 3 and 12 months afterwards. So those rents are going to continue to increase for the next 3 to 12 months at the same rate. We're seeing some rental increases of 40%, 40, okay, which is just astronomical. But how great is it to be a renter in this market right now? No, not at all.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
You can't lock in an interest until 40 days within.
Up to 60.
It's up to 60 days. I thought it was-
You may have to pay it for it.
This is
Well,
like a new home.
there's a couple of lenders now that will let you lock in without a home now. We do have 2 lenders that will let you lock a rate without having a property, but you have to get that sucker under contract in the next 2 months.
That's
So-
what I did with, that's what I just did, but they would not let me lock in until it was 40 days. It's a new bill until it's
Okay.
40 days in.
That's a lender rule, not necessarily.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that is per the different lenders, but some lenders won't let you lock it all until you get
Yeah.
have a property identified.
Yeah.
So, also, will property values keep increasing? We just talked about this, right? Like with interest rates, will homes be worth more? Yeah,
Yes.
it will.
Oh, yeah.
So I know this is not great news, right? But are we gonna shove our head in the sand? And I'm not trying to be negative Nelly about this and try and poo-poo what's going on, but I think we have to be realistic and we have to prepare ourselves and prepare our clients. Kind of thing.
So do you anticipate that we'll have more loans that are sold, or not sold, but
Foreclosure?
assumed? Like, where you assume the loan and you pay out the equity? Will we have some of that happening?
I think that we could at some point. I
'Cause
really.
that's what happened when they were 15, 16.
Right. Now, I don't really see us going to that level, mainly and in part because we still have a lot of demand on housing right now. And even though the interest rates, and I'll show you a slide here in a minute, even though the interest rates are going to go up, I don't see them going over 4, 4.5, maybe up into 5. And at that point, it's going to be, the challenge for a lot of folks that got FHA loans right now is, in the past, an FHA loan was a starter loan, and then you would refinance it later. Well, if you're going to refinance an FHA loan, once you get that 20% equity to try and remove MI, that's probably not going to be a good option for you anymore. It's almost easier to keep the MI and keep the lower interest rate than to refi at a 5% later on. So, that's one thing. On an FHA mortgage, you can't get rid of that now. Absolutely. And if you want, I'm also glad to share any of these slides. So, if you guys want any of this kind of stuff, share this out on social media, that kind of thing. I encourage you to do that.
Yeah.
So, we've also seen a big influx of labor prices kind of across the board for all industries. Right now, new construction has huge labor increases as well. But what's interesting about the labor increases right here is that if you look at right here, this is what's happened. The light blue line or the darker blue line is what's happened with labor costs. But look about where the real compensation factor is because of inflation, right? I mean, it's one thing when you're like, hey, we need to have, and that's kind of been the battle, like when folks have been, hey, we have to have minimum $15 an hour wage. Well, now everything costs more, so now it's $15 an hour worth, any different than it was before, right? Because now you're having to pay more for everything else as well. So we have seen huge increases, and labor is a big piece of what we're seeing drive the inflation right now. It is, we have nearly 10 million unfilled jobs in the US. So what about home prices kind of thing? So what you can see is, this is for Atlanta right here. And this is our original, what's happened with home prices and then adjusted for the inflation. So are home prices continuing to go up in Atlanta? Yes. Are we looking at a slide in that? No, but we are looking at a much more even tapering moving forward. This is our interest rates this week, 3.09. Actually went down from 3.14 last week. Are we in good shape right now? Hold on now. Are we in really good shape right now? I mean, so, one thing that I'd like to really make clear is now the right time to buy. I know that there's a whole lot of this, and Ryan even mentioned, now's a great time to buy. Now's a great time to buy. Okay, I hope that everyone sees the writing on the wall. What's happening with interest rates? They're going up. Are property values going down?
No.
No. is now the best time to take advantage of these rates through the rest of this year, first quarter of next year? Absolutely. Okay. So now is a real, so, there's part of me that's like, oh, I don't like where necessarily this is going. But there's another part of me that says, you know what? If I really care about folks and I want to, and I'd like to really work on my business right now, I'm going to focus on getting getting folks approved and getting them in and getting them in houses, because now is going to be a really, really great time to buy, because we're going to start seeing property values flatten off.
Yeah.
So because
It's still, with FHA, it's still an issue that even though there aren't as many multiple offers.
yeah.
They're still losing out. FHA is still
Yes,
losing
they
out.
I won't say, I'd be lying if I said, FHA is the same. One thing that we have, I just had a brokers council meeting and we were talking about FHA, and we made some, and there's some recommendations being made to FHA, and our recommendations are, wouldn't it be great if FHA loans had the same appraisal rules as conventional and VA?
Yeah.
Why don't they? That kind of stuff. That's really where it really comes in at right there. And so that's kind of what our big push is to try and get a level playing field for all the different mortgage products would be a much better way to go for me, as far as I'm concerned on that. So, but on this graph right here, this shows the amount of, what happens when interest rates go low. What does that do to how much house you can afford?
Oh, it goes up.
Right. So what are we going to be looking at moving forward? Because you can see that this spread, that's what the lender are always looking at. What's that spread? So the lower the interest rates, the more house they can afford. How does that really equate out? And where are we going? Now, this is the projection for the rest of this year from Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, Mortgage Bankers Association, and the National Association of Realtors. And then we took them and then we averaged them out on where they think that we're going to be. And they're looking at us being at a 3.18 by the end of the fourth quarter. I'm sorry, 3.55 by the end of the second quarter of 2022, all the way through next year. I personally think that we are a little bit, I'm leaning much more into that 3.5 rate moving forward. I think that we are, I think next year we're going to be in the mid 5s up into 4%.
Wow.
Well, now look at that face.
Oh my gosh. I know, that's what I just said.
Now is that gonna hurt our buyers' buying power?
Yes.
It absolutely will.
Yes.
Do you want to wait until those rates go higher?
No.
Or would you like to start helping some folks get in locked
That's
now?
right,
Okay.
yeah.
So
Right.
I wanted you to understand, it's one of those things that when I say, hey, rates are going up, sometimes I get the eye roll. Yeah, okay. But I want you, and I wasn't trying to discourage anyone, but I wanted you to understand, why do I believe rates are going up? What's the writing that we see on the wall? So we see that rates are going up. And can I stop that from happening? No. Now you can either take your business and react to what's happening and adjust accordingly, or you can let it run you over, right? I mean, these are the choices that we have right now, because that's where we're at moving forward. Now, let's take this into perspective, please.
Right.
Where were interest rates in 2018?
4.5%.
Was it a bad year in real estate?
No.
No, it was not a bad year in real estate. How about 2016, 2017, 2019? Look where we have been for the last 2 years. Is this normal?
Yes.
Right.
No, I mean, is 2020,
No.
I mean, are these last 2 years normal?
No, it's not normal.
No, this is not, okay, and so So we have to get, and I'm not trying to pick on you, you'll give me that stink eye, but but we got to be realistic about this, right? I mean, were these great years in real estate?
Yeah.
They were. We have really solid years in real estate for sure. Those years, and so are we a little spoiled? Yeah, I mean that's really what it comes down to. We're spoiled, right? We're just a little bit spoiled and this is kind of become the norm. So when you look at this kind of information, what do you I mean? Like I don't want to just throw information out for the sake of throwing it out. Like if we say, okay, this is the information, what do you do with it? What do you do with this information? I mean, if we don't share this out with our folks, do we want the client? Do we want our clients to just accept that a 2.89 is the normal rate? No. We need to make sure that we're showing these kind of things. We're talking about this. We're talking about, like either we control the information or the information controls us. And I'm not trying to manipulate this. There's nothing made up on here, right? This is legit. This is where we've been. But do we just not act like this is what's going on? Are we going to be heading up into these rates?
Yes,
we are. Is the world going to catch on fire and blow up into a giant fireball? No, it's not. Okay, so yes, we have rates going up. Yes, we're going to have challenges. Yes, inflation is something that we haven't seen in a long time. I mean, seriously, inflation is one of those things that for some of the younger folks, they've never really seen real inflation, but who was here in the 80s? I mean, like that, I'm other than dating myself, I'm just saying, you want to talk about crazy inflation back then. So, it is not all bad news is what I'm trying to say, but we have to take that information and please heed my information, heed the warnings of, we need to be the people who are communicating this. When you go out and you talk to your clients and you post on social media about these things are going to be happening and this is what's coming up and then this is going to be happening soon, and then it does. Who is the subject matter expert? You are, right? So, we should be the ones shouting about all this stuff coming on, that this is where we're heading. And I also want you to be able to articulate that and explain that kind of thing. Where are home prices, after all that, where are home prices going? And so these are the home price forecasts for Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Mortgage Bank, Home Price Index, Zelman, and NAR. And overall, if you just took all of them and averaged them out, we're looking at a 5% appreciation. And based on, I track this stuff every week, just about. I do the real estate backstory every Monday morning. I hope you guys enjoy that, and we'll check that out. But I'm tracking this kind of stuff every week. I think that we're going to be in that 3 to 5% next year growth rate, which, by the way, is completely healthy. It's normal. How much, if you looked at real estate over the last 50 years, what's our home appreciation rate?
You tell us.
It's right around 4%. It's like 4.4%. So if we have home price appreciation in the 3 to 5% range next year, what would that make that? A normal year, right? A healthy market, exactly. Now, are there going to be talking heads like housing's going down, right? And now, and on the serious side, we had some months, 19% home price appreciation, 14% home price appreciation. Like housing is part of our inflation issues on there as well, right? And is that healthy? A lot of us lived through the bubble in 2007, 2008. And who was part of the problem in 2007, 2008? It was us, right? We were the Oprah Winfrey of real estate. You get a house, you get a house. If you got a pulse, you get a house too, right? Now it wasn't just us, but the lenders are right there with us. The credit rating agencies were right there with us. So, but I was there too. I can be honest and say, I know that we sold houses and I went, I don't know how these folks can afford it. Seriously. And now looking back, I'm like, I was really stupid at that point, right? So, but our industry is so much healthier than where it was back then. Like, do we have no doc loans, stated income, things like that? We don't, we have much tighter lending standards. So we're not looking at any kind of drop like that. We have way more equity than we've almost had ever. Like 40-something% of all homes are 100% paid off in the US. We're not looking at a housing crash, nothing like that. And I don't want anyone to get freaked out. Are we going to have inflation? Yes. Are we going to have rising interest rates? Yes. Is it the end of the world? No. Okay. So I really see property values next year in the 3 to 5%, which is really, really normal and should actually be calming and normal kind of thing. It's hard when in a quarter we're going up 4 and 5% on a neighborhood in one quarter. Is really tough to value that out, right? Yeah. And so no one's making 20% more than they made last year, generally speaking. So I'm glad to see the housing market not necessarily cooling off, but flattening. Yeah. And that's really kind of where I see us going. Again, I don't see us up into the 7s. It is going to start tapering off. Be prepared. When it tapers, what is the media going to say? What is the news going to say? Housing's going down, recession coming. They're going to start throwing around the R word and things like that. Is it going to go down? Absolutely. Should we lose our minds? No. So, and so, that's kind of a long-term estimate of where we're looking at. This is from Keeping Current Matters of where they're looking at. And I think that that's pretty accurate where we're looking at for the next 5 years.
They have a good graph that shows like right now compared to what they anticipate next year, and it's on a $350,000 house. So with price and interest rate, they broke it down to like $267 more a month. And it's like a little graph and a visual on that Facebook website. It's really good. Yeah,
I like them a lot. And one of the reasons why I like the Keeping Current Matters folks was if you were a member of Keeping Current Matters in 2006 and 2007, they told us it was coming beforehand. Not a lot of folks listened, but they were the ones on the mountaintop shouting from high. And so I trust their data a lot. They, they've been at the forefront of stuff. And so that's part of the reason why I follow them so much as well.
Did they say anything about Zillow?
How did you know? Wow. That was like the perfect segue for me. So, all right, I do want to jump into the Zillow thing because there's been a lot of stuff going on with Zillow. And so, first of all, who's upset that Zillow's iBuying is shutting down? Now, I know. All right, look. I know code of ethics. I'm not supposed to say anything bad, but I'm trying to be really good. But yeah, Zillow is out of the home buying business, and honestly, I'm pretty happy about that. Yeah. But understand that this is. But do y'all know why they're out of the home buying business?
Because they project home values based on an algorithm. Right.
Well, that's part of it. But as far as like where's the decision makers? Here's what I want you to look at. Last quarter, they sold $1.17 billion in real estate. Wow. They lost $422 million during that same time.
They lost.
Yeah, they lost, and we've seen that. I mean, we've seen that on the individual level. We see them buy a house for $360 and sell it for $355. You think they don't have any costs associated with that kind of stuff? And so, I mean, for a long time, a lot of us have been going, how long can this go on, right? Now, conversely, Zillow's internet media and technology, which is what we think of Zillow, right? Well, their revenue was up 16% and grew to $480 million. Who paid them that $480 million? We did, right? Of that $480 million, they put $130 million to the bottom line. So if you're on the board at Zillow and you say, okay, we're doing iBuying, which just lost $422 million off $1 billion spent, or we can go after our traditional business, which generated almost $500 million, and we put $130 million to the bottom line, what would you do? You'd shutter it, exactly, okay? So the first thing is, this was a Zillow problem. Okay, this is not, and not to be the bearer of bad news, iBuyers are not going away, is what I'm really saying, okay? This is, if you look at, so this is Zillow, Opendoor, and OfferPad, and that's what's happened in their price to valuation model for the last year. You can see Zillow kept going the wrong way. This is what the gross profit margins for all three big iBuyers out there. So Opendoor is operating at 13%, OfferPad at 13%, and Zillow was running at 9%, which on a 4% margin, when you spend $1 billion, that's a lot of money, okay?
Yeah.
How about net profit? So Zillow lost $30,000 per house that they flipped.
That's a lot.
30,000.
Oh, no, that's not even the real number. So when you see this $6,000 for Opendoor and $7,000 for OfferPad, you think, oh, that's not terrible, right? Wrong, okay? Because that is their net profit loss per home. That includes, I mean, can you turn on Facebook and not see OfferPad or Opendoor on there? How about, Google ads? How about print media everywhere, everything, television, all the employees they have? That doesn't include any of that. None of that. It doesn't include it for Zillow either. Zillow is losing close to $50,000 a house per house by the time you added in overhead. Opendoor and OfferPad have never made money. Ever.
What?
So what are they doing? Do you think they're gearing up to sell leads back to us?
Well, as far as Zillow goes, yes, I think they're absolutely gearing back up because.
Opendoor and even OfferPad. Why is that?
Well, in the past, the thing is that, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with OfferPad and Opendoor, because they've never turned a profit and they've been like darlings of Wall Street. They've not had any problem generating just tons of funding, and they're extremely well funded. And the whole idea is that they were going to fundamentally change the way that people buy and sell real estate. That was the whole idea. OfferPad, Opendoor, Zillow, what were they going to be of real estate? They were going to be the Uber of real estate, right? And then, everybody was going to be the Uber of this, or the Amazon of real estate, or the Uber of real estate. They're going to fundamentally change the way things are done. Well, what did Zillow just say?
You can't do that.
You know what? That's a lot harder to do than it really looks like. And while I'm not knocking up Opendoor and OfferPad, those are significant companies. Who's bigger and who has more data than Zillow? They have more data than NAR does.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about a data company? Zillow is a data company. If they can't figure it out, you really think OfferPad and Opendoor?
No.
How did Zillow, when they became a brokerage, get away with having all of our listings on it and not putting the listing brokerage information?
Well,
Like, how did they get away? Like, when they became a broker, they were held to the same standards, and we can't share listings without
Well,
sharing.
we've been battling that whole thing all the way through as well. There is all kinds of stuff going on as well, just so you kind of know, behind the scenes, not just with them, but with all the IDX agreements. It's not because we're having the same thing with Realtor.com. We're having the same issues with Redfin. We're having the same issues with Zillow. And it's where they are basically hiding out the listing agent, and it's all through these IDX agreements, which are starting to, the IDX agreements have been getting manipulated behind the scenes on a lot of things, and now we're seeing where NAR is having all kinds of challenges, and so it is a big hairy mess right now. I wish I had a much better answer for you than that.
Wow.
Because of these, every single MLS has a separate IDX agreement with all of them, and how those are manipulated and controlled, and then where NAR falls into play. And then you've got all these different lawsuits going on at the same time. So it's definitely interesting. Where I just wanted to go here was that, I am glad that Zillow's not really a competitor for our buyers anymore. I think that's really good for us. But are iBuyers going away? No, they're not going away. But I do think that in my eyes, do I think that Wall Street is going to, now with Zillow backing out, will Wall Street look a little more closely at Open Door and OfferPad and some of these other big iBuying entities? I think it's time to do that, because they've had 3 years basically of operating huge revenues and no increases. They haven't made any money on spending just huge amounts of money. So yes,
Let me
ma'am.
ask you this, okay, Zillow opened their office. Then we have the other people, the rental companies, i.e. Progress Residential.
Right.
People, and they still have people buying for them, 330,000
Right.
max. They're still buying, and it's rentals.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking they're able to sustain that because it's gonna be a long hold, or what?
Well,
I mean, what do you-
why we're seeing, just so you know, so why are we seeing so many rental neighborhoods, and why are there so many Wall Street companies that are buying real estate? And it's mainly because we have a deficit of 5 million houses in the US. Is the bottom line. Right now, we have a total deficit. If we were to build 1.2 million houses a year, we wouldn't catch up for 6 years on our current trend. At the same time, the largest generational group we have are the millennials. And those are all 28 to 32, and 32 is the first time buyer age. And so these folks, they run the numbers. They know that there's more people than there are houses to be had. And if you can't buy a house, what are you going to do? You're going to rent a house. And what are we seeing happening with rent increases? All right. And then is inflation really bad for these guys, right? Because when inflation hits up, if you're a landlord and inflation hits, what do you do? What do you do to your rental rates?
Increase.
And then what happens to your property values?
Increase.
Is this a bad place to be if you're owning rental property? No. And so I don't knock them, but to me, this is indicative of, well, are we really going to help somebody out to buy, or are we going to let them get just hurt financially to rent? I mean, if you bought a home a year ago, what's your equity to that in Georgia?
4 or 5, or wasn't it just over 16%? 17%?
Well, I mean, if you just take the average price point home, let's say it's a $300,000 house, and it increased 15% last year. How much is your house worth this year? How much more? $45,000.
Yeah.
All right. If you rented the property last year, how much equity do you have?
45.
Zero. Okay. No, but I guess that's my point, right? So
like another note on that too is that's a double-edged sword. The benefit of that though is when they buy those neighborhoods, it frees up capital for builders to be able to turn more houses too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not pro it. I'm not big about it.
It's
but-
just that it's still competing.
Oh, I agree entirely, but the bottom line is like if I was a builder and I could build 100 houses and sell them at one shot and not have to market anything, and I just sell it straight out and I make the same money.
Oh, yeah, I get that part.
I don't like it, but it's true.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about us still out here, the everyday house under 330,000. I'm getting a text from George Cripius every other day talking about, give me all your unlisted,
There is no unlisted. Okay?
I know, he just.
All right, let me address that real fast, because as a brokerage, you guys, everybody, hey, you got any off-market properties?
Yeah.
No, they're out. Why would a property be off market in this market? That's the dumbest question. Like if it's off market, why? There's a reason. There's hair on that thing. Okay, it doesn't have clear title. It's got something going on. There's no way that I would sell a house like you know what? I just don't feel like making all the money on this. Let's just slide this in. Right? Like, who does that? So, all right. I want to make sure that you guys are aware that we got to get ready.
Yeah.
The border's back open again. Okay, so the US is lifting a travel ban on 33 countries. What does that mean to us? Well, Atlanta is probably the 4th best investment market in the United States.
Wow.
Foreign investors like Atlanta because we don't have the hurricanes and we don't have the floods and fires and all that kind of stuff. So we're the number 4 destination for investment real estate in the United States. All right. So in 2018, foreign buyers spent 2.67 billion, about 200 billion the year after that. So far in 2021, and foreign investors only spent around 100 billion. So we're going to be seeing a doubling of foreign investor investment coming in which a pretty sizable piece of that's coming where? No, but should we be ready for that? Yeah, we really should. I mean, this is something that and I'm not trying to get any kind of a debate about coronavirus or anything like that. But are we going to see foreign investors coming back?
Yes.
The EU has opened up. Asia's opened back up. We're going to start seeing foreign investors coming back. Should we be ready for that? Yes. Okay. That was my big thing there. So we purchased the rights for the Tom Ferry Summit replays. So if any of you guys couldn't catch it, would like to catch parts or just pieces of it, we have it in all the offices. The branch managers can set you up. We'll let you watch it at your leisure when you want to. You can watch it in the big room, in the training room. It doesn't really matter, but we just don't have the rights to give it away. But please, there really was a lot of really great information.
Wow.
And so we got the rights to be able to replay that in the offices. So please take advantage of that. We have Sky Slope that is coming out. We being myself, Ming, staff, the branch managers are all being trained on Sky Slope, and we're going to start training you guys on Sky Slope coming up in December. So all that is going to be coming out late November, early December is when we're going to be rolling out Sky Slope. And Sky Slope this is our new transaction platform. It's going to be replacing paperless pipeline. It's going to be replacing Authentisign. It's going to be replacing our docs and Remind docs and all that kind of stuff. Everything is synced together.
Right.
And in the past, a lot of our services, a lot of our systems didn't talk to each other. Well, that's where we're going now. And so we're going in where we have Sky Slope and KV Core all tied in together, all communicating with each other. So all this is coming out. So we're going to be rolling out Sky Slope first thing. We're going to be starting off the year with Sky Slope. And it is, and I don't want to stress anybody out, but this is coming down the road. And we're looking for this to really streamline a lot of our processes. We're already going through right now, trying to look at some redundancies that we've been having in some of our paperwork and administration side of things to make things a lot easier and to make sure that we aren't forcing any kind of unnecessary work on agents and so that's part why we went to Sky Slope. We also wanted to be able to have something that communicated across the board instead of having this system here and this system here, this system here. Now this is going to be our back office. This is going to be our transaction management. You'll do all your digital signatures on here. This will replace paperless pipeline, all of our back office. It will be synced with all of our MLSs. You can pull up a property out of the MLS, start a transaction with it. Once you start a transaction, you can automatically get your signatures on there, and it automatically goes into what we would think of as your paperless pipeline kind of thing, all at the same time. So in addition, that's going to be integrated with our KV Core that we're rolling out. That's going to be coming out. We want to get the Sky Slope running first. And so, because that's going to be the hub. Because if I think I love KV Core and I'm very, very pro it. I like having those tools. And we got every bell and whistle coming with it that we can kind of thing. We got the lead engine. We're having the smart CRM. full web and IDX integration. We have the marketing autopilot, which automatically will market your listings, as well as so many things, campaigns, video messaging. BombBomb is built into this one and included with it. Has full business analytics. You have a lead generation website. It has a full set of listing tools, and then it integrates with SkySlope at the same time. So you can even start a transaction in there, I think. And so all this is coming right now.
I know we're gonna have training on it.
Absolutely.
Can we put, like, if we're putting a listing in there, will it go directly to the Georgia MLS and the FMLS?
Well,
It had to be.
okay, so
It looks like you can. It says.
yeah, well, everything's going to be in here together. Now, one thing that I'm concerned of is we got a lot of folks, and I'm going to be turning on different modules as we go down. So we're starting off with SkySlope and going to get that one integrated, because we have to be able to complete transactions. And even in SkySlope, I mean, we can still take print a form off, sign it, and still be good to go. First, I wanted to make sure that we didn't hurt our ability to be able to take care and service our clients. As soon as we get SkySlope up, then we're going to be starting to turn on the different components of KV Core. But we're not going to what I don't want to do is drink out of a fire hose. Okay, so we're going to we're going to roll this thing out until we have every bell and whistle up and running. But I just don't want to turn on a tap and just drown everybody at the same time. So we're in the process of getting CE classes approved for training. We're preparing those CE classes. Right now, our big push is through December is going to be getting SkySlope up and get everyone trained and no one feeling wigged out or worried about it or anything like that. That for me is not that I'm worried about that, but look, I love y'all. I know y'all, but a lot of folks just wait until they got a transaction before they look at anything, right? And so that's what worries me. That's the thing that keeps me up at night. And so it does have a ton of tutorials on there and that kind of stuff, but I want to make sure that we have everyone well prepared for this. Honestly, it is so much easier. I mean, I've already gone through, put in transactions. Does anybody here work with any of it? Yeah. Oh, we, all right. So,
like it or no? Yeah.
Oh.
EXP.
Oh, you can help us train.
Well, but that's where we're going. So do you have any advice for us, or can you, things that we should be, so just so everybody knows, we have a fan, I guess you'd say, kind of thing. But any concerns, anything that you want to throw at us?
As far as KV4, the only thing that I find different, because, well, my background, I came from a team. And so I was on a team with EXP and we never used any of EXP stuff. The team had their own CRM system and we used Boomtown.
Mm-hmm.
So transitioning from Boomtown, and when I went independent with EXP, I had to learn KV Core. So the only thing that I got spoiled with Boomtown is like the drip campaigns. And you can literally keep in touch with all your leads without. Just so you know,
we are, our KV Core is different than EXP's KV Core.
Well, that's good.
Okay, so I'm just, I'm just saying that the EXP got like the standard version.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting the one that had we are getting every single tool that we can. So I mean, it's integrated with BombBomb and the whole 9 yards. So one of the reasons that I like this one a lot, just so kind of everyone, because we were kind of debating between this one and Skype, and Chime. And I like Chime a lot, but the problem with Chime is it's very labor intensive on our side. There's a lot of programming to do. We have to go in and rewrite emails and you have to set up all that kind of stuff. Whereas what we did with the KV Core is it's a hit a button and it goes kind of thing. There's no creating things and that kind of stuff. It just starts integrating automatically. In addition, there's 22 lead generation activities built in that you can do right now to start building business. So anyway, all that's coming down. again, let's focus on SkySlope is what's going to be coming out. That's the thing you're going to be seeing. Once we have that SkySlope back office platform in place, we're going to begin rolling out and putting in the other tools to help you grow your business is really what it comes down to. So SkySlope is by January 1, KV Core is immediately following all that, and then we will keep rolling that bad boy out until we get it all the way through. So let's talk about awards. So I'm gonna let everyone kind of I'm gonna hush up, and then each office can go ahead and address their awards. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank y'all.